welcome to my review of the Viture Luma Pro XR glasses after over 200 hours of using them. Viture did send me these glasses for free, so thank you very much to them. Crazy how immersive this is and how you can just get lost in a giant big screen experience just about anywhere and everywhere you go. So let's just start off with the 5 biggest reasons to buy it, as well as the 5 biggest reasons not to buy it. The Luma Pro XR offer a big screen experience, bright, vibrant, colorful, and reliably amazing when in 2D movie theater mode. It works amazing indoors and outdoors as well. $500 is not cheap, but also considering the versatilities that these glasses offer and the amount of different devices you can use, you basically have a portable movie theater on the go and you can power it with your phone, your laptop, so many different things it's compatible with. This does support 3D display output, so there's 220 Hz OLED panels in here at 1920 by 1200 resolution, but they are very sharp and you can see all the detail in the text, but there are some problems with the implementation as well, which I'm going to go over here in a moment. The 2D works with nearly any type of media device that has USB-C support. So Android phone, iOS, Steam Deck, your laptop, your desktop. Now, I think the other big reason to buy this will vary a lot from user to user, and that is that you need to have a specific use case where you'll want to use this over another display type. For example, if you're going to be traveling a lot on an airplane and you want to watch a movie, it's so much better to use this than your phone screen. If you're at home, laying in bed, about to go to sleep, and you want to catch up on an episode of anime or something, you can put the glasses on and just have a big screen experience right there in bed, and it's amazing. Now, I think the other reason to pick this up is that if you want a private screen, no one else can see what you're seeing, then this provides a private screen function even in a crowded, busy environment. Let's go over the 5 reasons that you probably want to avoid these. Now, first of all, when hooked to a smartphone, the FOV is just right. And that's because a smartphone is an ultra-wide aspect ratio. And the screen mimics the aspect ratio of the device that you're hooked up to for the most part. But when you hook these up to a PC, you end up with the full 1920 by 1200 resolution. And this 16 by 10 aspect ratio is just too tall for the sweet spot in the glasses. The top 10% of the top or bottom will pretty much always be blurry. So one of my recommendations to the company is to reduce the FOV down a little bit to make sure that everything fits inside of the sweet spot of the display. They could also just make it a wider aspect ratio, like 16 by 9. That would also help a lot. Reason number 2 is buggy software and clunky integration of 3D AI makes the more advanced features unusable or too much of a pain to actually use. Software from iOS, Android, PC all vary, and the quality and bugginess of each software suite will be different. So in my opinion, the iPhone is the most mature. PC is pretty buggy in my experience so far, with screen flickering, features not working, having to replug in and unplug the display often. So in general, I avoid Viture's PC suite of SpaceWalker, and I just use it as an external monitor, and that works much better for me. Now, reason number 3 is that the speakers are really high quality, but they're very open ear. And when they're open ear, that means that all the noise from around you also comes in. So if you're in a quiet environment and you play these, everyone in the whole room will hear exactly what you hear. When you're in a noisy environment, it's very easy for road noise and other things, like if you're on a train or an airplane, it's gonna be hard to hear the audio, which means you're probably gonna wanna use earbuds with this so you don't bother the people around you. Number 4 is that I could not get 3D PC gaming to work at 100% video resolution. I was able to get it working at 50% video resolution. It took me many hours of troubleshooting, dealing with mods, fiddling with settings, and eventually I got everything to work in several games, but never at the full 100% resolution, only at 50% resolution, and that is a problem. So Viture, I've reported everything to them and they're working on improving it, so I expect a fix sometime in the near future, but I don't know when that fix will come. Reason number 5 is that you will likely need to get extra accessories if you want to use this for extended periods or with specific devices. Devices like the Switch and Switch 2 are only compatible with these glasses if you get their mobile battery dock, which relays the video signal from the Switch into something that the Luma Pro can display. The Viture Pro mobile device is a must-have accessory if you want to use any HDMI device with your glasses. So the downside here is they're $129, but they double as a battery bank for extending your battery life. on your device, so you can charge your phone while you use it, up to 20 hours according to them. I highly doubt it's 20 hours, but you can use also two glasses for the same video input. So if you want to share your screen with a friend, you're able to do that with these glasses. And you can use any HDMI device with this, such as an HDMI video stick or most USB-C smartphones. I think this is really cool because, for example, you could go on a flight with your girlfriend and share a second pair of glasses with her and both be in the same movie theater experience while traveling on the go. This is the USB-C XR charging adapter for USB-C and iPhones, and this is required if you want to use any kind of head tracking on the iPhone 16 or iPhone 15, and also required if you want to charge your phone while you use the glasses, say for 8 hours in a row. Now, I don't really recommend using it for that long in a row, but I've used it over 8 hours in a day and it was fine, though I did have some eye strain. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. So let's talk build quality and build materials. This has a metal frame encased in plastic, and there is a single camera in the front, which is used for 3 degrees of freedom stabilization. The stabilization did not work well for me, but I've heard that the stabilization with the Pro neckband is excellent. Now, as far as adjustment goes, there's 3 different nose guards of different lengths, and each side of the glasses on the right and left can tilt the screen up and down so that you can get the most part of the screen into the visual sweet spot. In addition, there's some knobs on the top which adjust the lenses for nearsighted folks out there so that you don't need to have glasses or prescription lenses if you're nearsighted to have clear vision. And it's also per eye. So if your left eye is more nearsighted than your right eye, you can still get perfectly clear picture in both eyes, which I think that is just really, really cool and really well done. In my opinion, this is a legit big screen experience that looks amazing and works with most of the devices that people already own. Just plug in your phone, PC, Mac, iPad, and bam, you've got a portable movie theater anywhere you go. Now, sometimes, of course, you will need the Pro Mobile dock depending on the device, but for the most part, the screen is bright, vibrant, and detailed. Text is easily read, both in video games and if you're doing, say, word processing or Excel. Now, the OLED 120 Hz Full HD Plus display is excellent for gaming due to its fast response time and high refresh rate. The 1920 by 1200 resolution actually looks very crisp, especially in games with DLAA enabled. It looks very comparable to playing games at QHD resolution with DLSS on quality mode. SpaceWalker application is available on all of your main devices for PC, Mac, Android, and iPhone. Now, the issue with SpaceWalker, in my opinion, is that I think different dev teams work on the different versions, and some of them are better than others. The iPhone SpaceWalker app is the most mature. The PC one has a lot more features potentially, but it's been very buggy, not that great of an experience. So in general, I would use SpaceWalker on the iPhone, and I pretty much don't ever open it when I'm using the glasses with PC. And I'm also very interested in trying these glasses out with the Samsung Galaxy series phones and using the glasses with a DeX implementation. So basically it turns your smartphone into a mini PC as well. But I did use the glasses with my iPhone with an external Bluetooth mouse, and that actually worked really well to control the phone and to play clickable games. So games like Balatro, Civilization 5, that are available on the iPhone, you can play them just like they're on the desktop pretty much, and it's a great gaming experience. I also played Fortnite, Diablo Immortal for many hours using a controller with the glasses hooked up to my phone, and it basically turns your iPhone into this giant movie theater experience on the go for both movies and games, and it's just very immersive. Now, my biggest complaint about the glasses from a technical perspective is that when you actually have them on, just like any lens-based device, there's a sweet spot of viewable area. And the simple fact is they made the screen, if this is the sweet spot and the screen is actually more like this big, it's too tall, resulting in basically me having to tilt the glasses up or down if I ever want to read the start bar menu or switch apps or click at the very top of the display. The smartphone actually has a narrower aspect ratio, allowing you to have basically see everything just fine. You don't have to adjust anything and everything's inside the sweet spot. But when you plug it into the PC, you get the full vertical resolution, and that's when the problems occur. So to fix this, it's actually pretty simple. If you use the NVIDIA control panel, you can go in there and click resize the desktop resolution, and you can set the resolution to something lower like 1920 by 960. And this really puts everything in the sweet spot for me, and I can play basically all the games perfectly fine. The way the Asus laptops work, the left USB-C connects to the iGPU that then goes to the dedicated GPU. The right USB-C connects directly into the NVIDIA GPU, and this allows the signal to always be consistent, smooth, and hit that 120 Hz refresh rate that I really want to see. On PC, the SpaceWalker application lets you set up virtual monitors that are bigger than the technical resolution. So you could have an ultra-wide monitor, maybe 3840 by 1200, so you can have windows on the left, windows on the right, or maybe 3 windows mixed around. And it's a really cool idea, but the problem in my experience was that the head tracking and the spatial tracking were not consistent, and so the monitors ended up moving around vertically up and down, left and right a little bit. It wasn't good. So I ended up basically needing to turn that off and set my resolution to the, again, specified narrower band of resolution. That's one thing the SpaceWalker application does not do. It forces you into using 1920 by 1200 resolution, which, like I said, it's too big of an FOV. So that alone makes the SpaceWalker application a non-starter for me. But I believe they're adding more and more features to make, for example, the whole screen a little bit smaller, and they're adding updates and improving the SpaceWalker application. So I think over time, the SpaceWalker application will become much better. Now, if you want head tracking without a PC, you're going to need to get either the Beast version of these glasses, or you can get the iPhone charging accessory, which offloads some of the processing for the head tracking so that you can use the head tracking without a PC. I haven't been able to try that though because Viture did not send me the iPhone charging accessory. So another way to get stabilization onto these glasses is by buying the Viture Pro neckband. Now this includes an Android inside the neckband with 4 hours of battery life for video streaming. At least that's what's claimed by Viture. I don't know the actual battery life in real life. I imagine it's probably less than that. But you could also use things like GeForce Now game streaming if you wanted to play games while not being plugged into your phone and having an extended session that way. It does cost $299, but it's kind of like buying a extra Android phone / video player for your glasses. The other great thing about the Viture Pro neckband is that it has extra cameras for both hand tracking as well as 3 degrees and 6 degrees of movement stabilization. So you can mount a virtual screen on the wall next to you, and I believe it should pick it up and you can walk around and use the glasses that way. I've heard positive things. I have not been able to try it out though. So let's talk about Immersive 3D, which is an AI 2D to 3D scaling application that's available on Android, iOS, and the PC versions. Now, if you're in iOS, the SpaceWalker has Immersive 3D as a free trial mode, but after the free trial is done, you have to pay $3.99 for it. And I paid for it because it does work quite well on the iPhone. The PC version does come free, I think, but unfortunately the PC version has a lot of bugginess to it that caused stuttering and frame drops even on an RTX 5090 gaming laptop. So I don't think I can recommend using the Immersive 3D with a PC, but inside of the iOS SpaceWalker application, if you use the browser and you go to any page showing a video, there will be a little pop-up button that you click on and click Immersive 3D, and then it'll launch that video into 3D mode. Then you'll need to hold the 3D mode button glasses on the right side to switch the glasses into 3D mode, which displays a left image for the left eye and a right image for the right eye that then allows you to have, 3D depth and perception, which is really cool. And I'd say the iOS version of Immersive 3D works really well. Now, the main downside to it is that basically it adds the 3D effect by finding shapes and adding like a little bit of shading outline around the shapes, which does look a little janky sometimes. And sometimes, like especially with complicated patterns, it just doesn't look that good. But for the most part, if it's people just talking to the camera, most movies, most animations, I think Immersive 3D works really well for the majority of video content out there. One downside of using Immersive 3D on iOS is that when you are done with the 3D video, and let's say you want to go to the next one, you exit your video, but now your glasses are still in 3D mode, which means you have a left eye being represented with some of the content on your left eye, the right eye being represented different content, and you can't see it clearly because your eyes are seeing like two different web pages, for example. When your 3D content is done, the glasses should probably switch to 2D mode again, or SpaceWalker application should enter into a 3D mode of displaying the content. But right now it doesn't do that. And so basically it's a pain in the butt where I have to close basically the right eye, control the screen with just the left eye, click the next video, then click Immersive 3D, and then it transforms the video back into 3D where it looks normal with both eyes open. So right now the software, even on iOS, still needs some work, especially when dealing with 3D content. 3D movies look great on these glasses, but the problem is, of course, there's very limited access to buying, streaming 3D movies. That leads to a lot of 3D movies being available on bootleg websites. Viture actually linking directly to some of these bootleg websites inside of the SpaceWalker application, which I found very interesting. Many YouTube videos do have side-by-side 3D, and so if you can find some YouTube videos to play, you can get some cool 3D video demos. Currently, there's no 3D movies that you can stream on Netflix, Amazon Prime, or anything like that. And you might be able to buy some of them through some streaming services, but they're not part of the monthly streaming package price. The easiest way to watch 3D content would be using something like Immersive 3D, but unfortunately, at least on PC, it doesn't work very well. And the iOS Immersive 3D does not support things like Netflix and other streaming services that are official. So you can only use things like YouTube and other random video sources for the Immersive 3D, which means that if you want to use Immersive 3D to watch Netflix on iOS, you can't use the official Netflix application, but you could use third-party bootleg websites to watch the video anyway, and then Immersive 3D will work on those bootleg websites. It's pretty ridiculous right now, and I really hope they get Immersive 3D working with the official streaming platforms. I can confidently say that the best movie watching experience out of the TV behind me, the 18-inch laptops, the 16-inch OLED laptops, I like using these the most for watching a movie or video. The screen is bigger. You can easily see all the details. I know that Viture labels this as a 4K-like display, but it's really not. What it is it's a 1920 by 1200 resolution that's just very sharp and very large, and it allows the full resolution of video content to be displayed. And when you're streaming content, a 1080p resolution is not going to be a high enough bit rate and compression rate. So usually you need to stream like the 4K version of that content to get true 1080p Blu-ray levels of quality. So if you stream 4K videos from your PC or your phone to these, you'll be able to see just tons of really sharp details. And yeah, it is very comparable to watching a 4K movie in a movie theater, especially if you have mediocre eyesight where you can't really see the full resolution anyways. Like for me, I have excellent vision. I can tell that this is not 4K, but it's still really dang good as long as the video source is really high quality. Now you can use Immersive 3D on your PC to translate streaming and other types of content into 3D. But like I said, there is the stuttering. Now I tried using these glasses in 4 different games to get them to work in 3D mode. Now, the first game I tried was Hogwarts Legacy using Reshade plus Depth 3D plugins. Now, when you do this, it actually looks really good, but if you do the full 3840 by 1200 resolution and then put it into 3D mode, everything gets squashed. It all looks ultra wide, squashed down 2 times horizontally, and it does not look good. It's unplayable. But if you manually adjust the FOV, you can make it look a little bit more reasonable. But when you do that, all of your HUD elements are no longer visible. No matter what game I tried, I could not get the 3D PC gaming to work properly. I have sent detailed feedback to the Viture dev team. They've confirmed that this is a problem and they are working to fix it. So I hope that all of the correct 3D gaming settings for PC gamers will be fixed. Let's talk about using these glasses to help you work out. Now, I did many hours walking on a treadmill while watching anime and other videos like Star Trek. It was great. You can just easily get lost in the videos that you're watching. The sound is good enough to easily hear it, but you will bother other gym goers unless you wear earbuds. One downside is that when you're walking with them and doing a lot of motion, they tend to slide down my face a little bit, which will cut off the very top portion of the video unless I push them back up to the top. So when I'm working out, I probably just need to use a different nose guard that's a little bit longer to hold the glasses a little bit higher. And while I can recommend it for simple styles of weightlifting, you got to be careful because weightlifting can be dangerous. So in general, I don't think I would recommend these glasses for weightlifting. For walking, for ellipticals, riding the bicycle, these glasses are really great for just giving you immersion into your content while exercising. Now, I want to talk about the eye strain that I experienced while using the Luma Pro. You can do a little quick test for yourself. Hold your fingers up close to your eyes. Now focus on your fingers, all right? And now focus in the distance. Now focus on your fingers. Now focus in the distance. Now focus on your fingers. When you contract your focus muscles in your eye back and forth, it just causes fatigue. So if you're using the glasses and you're focused on the screen, and then you need to look at the keyboard, and then you're focused on the screen, and then you need to look at the keyboard, it's a problem, right? So my recommendation is to only use these glasses when you're gonna be able to just focus on your content. So if you want to wear these as regular sunglasses, they double as headphones or as kind of a heads-up display when walking around in real life. Take the cable down the shirt, reach up, wrap the cable, pull it through. This can then go down in like this to walk around. You take this and you plug it into your phone, but we're filming with the phone right now. Anytime you want to use the glasses, all you have to do is pull it out, string it over your ear, put the glasses on, and then grab your kitty cat and give him some big old kisses. But having the cable go through your shirt helps keep it manageable for actually using the glasses on the go, working out, walking around, or doing things. You know, having the cable swing around will pull off the cable. The cable's also liable to get caught on stuff. Having it go through your shirt keeps it plugged in and nice and snug. It doesn't really come out like this and helps keep the glasses on a little bit better. But the key to using them when you're walking around, you have to undo the shade on the front so you can see through the glasses. And then I also recommend turning the OLED screen brightness down much lower so the display becomes very transparent and you can see where you're going. Now, the main downside here again is that if you look through the glasses, you'll either focus on the image before you, which looks like a floating TV window right in front of your body. And then you look in the distance, you like look down at the ground and then you look up at the screen. So again, it can cause eye fatigue, I think, using the glasses while walking around. In theory, I think it could work really well if you're having a sports game on in the background and you just occasionally want to glance at like a highlight that's happening. When you play a video source, if you could set the video source to be like the bottom left-hand corner so that it doesn't take up your whole vision, you just kind of glance down at the bottom left and you can see the video that's playing, that would be really cool. And then the rest of your vision is generally clear and usable. I also think it would be really cool if they sold a pair of glasses that were very transparent, allowing you to use the glasses even in a room like this, but then you press a button and then the shade turns on and it makes it much darker, usable for brighter environments. But in general, you could only really walk around and use these in very bright environments that you can see through the display into the real world. I was also able to play full 100% resolution PC games through local Wi-Fi streaming. I did this through Steam Remote Play using the ROG Ally. Now the downside when you plug this into the ROG Ally is there's only one USB-C port. If you use some of the newer handhelds that have two USB-C ports, then you'll be able to plug this in to one port and use the glasses and plug a power plug into the other USB-C port. So your mileage will vary depending on your handheld and whether it has one USB-C or two USB-C ports. Now, the cool thing about using the glasses with Wi-Fi streaming is that you can basically be anywhere, have a giant movie theater experience, and get the ultra high resolution PC games with all the graphics turned to maximum. You know, if you're just using your iPhone to play, the graphics are only at the iPhone's level. Now, there are also fully cloud-based PC streaming services services such as GeForce Now and Xbox Cloud Gaming, but you'll need to be in a region that has servers that supports it locally, and you'll need to have an excellent connection to make that work. Now, I also want to talk about using these glasses for replacing your monitor like full time. And I do think it's theoretically possible, but the number one reason why I think it would be difficult is that if you need to interact with the real world regularly, it's going to cause a lot of eye strain and eye fatigue. Plus, it's just not as convenient. When you need to reach for your mug, you might knock it over because you don't see fully because the glasses are in the way compared to a normal screen. Eating food is also not as convenient because as you chew, as you move your head around, the display moves with you. And this could be disorienting for some people. So really, when you use these glasses, my recommendation, especially starting out, is keep your head still in a stationary spot, lay on a pillow and use the glasses. It's amazing. The stable screen is perfect, looks great, no disorientation. If you're sitting at a desk, keep your head still and just use it at the desk. It's great. But if you start chewing, moving around, you might get some disorientation, dizziness. And if you're constantly going from looking at the screen to looking into real life to looking at the screen, I think you're going to feel a lot of eye fatigue over time. So in many ways, I think just a regular monitor is more superior just due to the convenience factor of having nothing blocking your vision. Now, if I could improve these glasses in any way, I would up the resolution to 2560 by 1440. I would also reduce the displayed FOV by maybe 10% so that everything fits into the user's vision inside of the sweet spot. The other option, of course, would be making the sweet spot of the lenses a little bit larger, but I think some people will find the display is so big, it's a little bit disorienting looking at such a big display up close. So I think reducing the FOV would actually be a little bit better. Overall, for $500, these glasses are absolutely worth the price if you have an applicable use case for them. Many users will fall in love with them so much that they will consume all of their main entertainment with these devices, at least while they're alone. The two biggest buyers of these glasses will be one, who crave a movie theater experience wherever they go. Two, those who regularly travel or commute or wanted a movie theater experience on the go. So, I mean, you need to have a valid use case for these. Do you ride the bus every day? Do you travel for work regularly? Do you want to sit in bed and consume content, videos, movies, play games? These glasses are for you. If you're constantly watching movies with your friends, you're literally never going to put these on because you cannot share the image with a friend unless you get a second pair of glasses and a Pro Mobile dock, and then you can share it with one other friend. So it's very limited sharing capability. When you're riding the train, riding in a car, riding in an airplane, when you compare watching a movie on your little phone screen compared to watching a movie with a giant perceptible screen that looks just huge and detailed in front of you, it's just so much better going with the huge virtual XR display. And for that reason alone, I think that these glasses are a technology that will keep getting better. They'll keep getting slimmer. It'll keep getting cheaper. And I think these are going to be very popular in the future, or at least technology similar to these, if not this type of technology exactly. As for me, these glasses are not going to replace my daily laptop screen. It's just too inconvenient for me. But they will replace my laptop screen for watching entertainment and for when I want to get immersed in certain types of movies and video game content, particularly mobile games that I enjoy playing before bed, watching movies before bed. I think those are the two main reasons. And the other thing is when I travel, I do travel a lot internationally. For flights, trains, and bus trips, this would be amazing for passing the time and such a better, more immersive experience than your smartphone screen. Overall, I can highly recommend these, but just don't expect to have lots of 3D movies available to you, at least not the native ones, not without a lot of extra work. And don't expect 3D PC gaming to actually work easily whenever it does work. It's going to require modding and advanced user knowledge to get it to work properly. I mean, it's not that hard. I think many of you out there would love to have these, and I can highly recommend them for the use case of a 2D movie theater experience. Okay, anyway, that's it for this review. We'll see you in the next one. Brandon out.